doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing great. What's going on out there in Wisconsin there, Justin?
It's good here. It's sunny. I was like yesterday it was like 72 and sunny. I was like it's LA today. and
I love it, man. Are you guys still riding high from the Bucks' glory? The Brewers are crushing. I mean, come on.
dude,
Roger back in Green Bay. I'm
I
stoked right here.
I was talking to my buddy yesterday and he was like he's like I've watched enough baseball to know when things are going to happen, and he's like I've never thought that the Brewers have a better chance of winning World Series than they do this year.
It's crazy, man.
And if they would win with the Bucks win, oh my God. I called my dad right
Chills in
away.
my arms just thinking about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you grow up? What sports did you grow up with?
All of them. I mean, because out on a farm, there wasn't a whole heck of a lot to go on. But I mean, we listened to Uecker. You know, I love Bob Uecker. I mean, Uecker. I would listen to him in all those years where he, had to call bad baseball. And he was so good. I remember my favorite one, I'll make it real fast, of Uecker. This is just such a Bob Uecker moment. It's like they're getting blown out like 900 to nothing. I'm driving back. At the time I had a guitar school in Oconomowoc, and I live in Milwaukee. So I'm driving that stretch of road and I'm listening to Uecker, and Uecker's like, all right, ball one outside. And he's like, a lot of great characters in Looney Tunes cartoons, Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck. I always like that foghorn leghorn ball too outside. It's just like the guy had to just do whatever he could do. And then he had my favorite Uecker I ever heard was, by the way, Milwaukee, if you want to get entertained, go watch Bob Uecker on Johnny Carson. It's on YouTube. It's in the 70s. He's killing it. But when he interviewed Les Paul during a game, when Les Paul came back,
Wow.
To play the Riverside.
Uecker interviewed Les Paul?
Well, I don't think was it Uecker? God, I'm going to get called out now. But it was a Brit Brewer game.
Okay.
I think it was during the game.
Wow.
God, it was Bob, because now I'm going to make a fool of myself. But anyway.
What made it interesting?
Just hearing Les Paul during a baseball game, and I'm almost positive with Bob, because it was like they went so deep into Les Paul's history with, because a lot of people, I'm sure in Wisconsin know, but a lot of people don't know that the Les Paul guitar was invented by Les Paul, a Wisconsinite, who also invented multi-track recording, who also invented delay. I mean, the music wouldn't be the same. And the solid body guitar, which is what we all base our rock and roll on. So, yeah. I guess we'll talk about Wisconsin today instead of talk about the music, which is fine by me. I'll talk about anything you want.
Did you know that Les Paul is the godfather of Steve Miller?
I did know that, and that's crazy. Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what was your favorite Wisconsin sport growing up? I mean,
I loved the Brewers as a kid, because we could go to County Stadium. And I remember the Two-Fisted Slobber. We would always love that cartoon. I don't know if you remember that. It would be on the Two-Fisted Slobber. Somebody out there is going to know this. They'd run it during the 7-inning stretch, or it was like the old scoreboard where it was a guy with two beers, and he was called the Two-Fisted Slobber. And it was like, watch out, beware of the Two-Fisted Slobber. If you see the Two-Fisted Slobber, and it was a nice way of saying, if there's a guy falling down the stairs with 4 beers, maybe let people know, or make sure it's so amazing.
I'm gonna ask my dad about that one, because he'll love it. Yeah. So I know that you're from the area. I know that you but I don't know some of the specifics. Where were you born and grew up?
I was raised on a dairy farm outside of Burlington, Wisconsin, next to a little township called New Munster. I went to St. Alphonsus grade school. There were 4 kids in my first grade class. Wow. There are 2 St. Alphonsuses, one closer to Milwaukee. Ours was New Munster off of Highway 50. There were 3 boys in my class and me. My dad still farms. My brother Brian Voss played with me in a band called Freshwater Collins for a lot of years around Milwaukee, and now he farms with my dad. My brother Mark Voss farms with my dad. And then I moved to Milwaukee to go to college, UW Milwaukee. and graduated. And then I started playing in bands, met my wife, got married in Milwaukee at the Hilton. And then we moved to LA when she got a job at the LA Times. And when I got out to LA, I had never planned on moving there. I was like, well, if I'm here, I might as well take a run at this thing that I've always wanted to do. So I started it, and then the record company formed, and here we are on our third record, and I'm talking to you.
That's right.
So that's how it went down.
Having seen you, in Milwaukee and talked before, you have always struck me as a man who was like raised with principles. And growing up on a farm, that doesn't surprise me, but what were some of the principles that you grew up with? Like, what were your parents like, or what are they?
Beautiful people,
Yeah,
supportive, kind. My grandpa Don farmed every day till he was 92. Hard work wasn't what we talked about. It was farming is a way of life. And when you see people go out, I never saw my dad wake up as a kid, because he was up at 4 a.m.
wow.
And he come in at 7 p.m. And if you wanted to hang with Dad, I never got to throw the baseball with Dad. I had to go outside and work, and that's how you bonded over that. But respect, kindness, mind your own business a little bit. Let's not be so. My mom's favorite thing to say to me as a kid is, people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, meaning you're imperfect, own your imperfection. Don't be so dang highfalutin about your opinion, and maybe consider that the person across from you has feelings too, and that you should respect them, even if you are coming from a different place or have different backgrounds or have different perspectives. Open your heart a little, be kind, be sweet, and remember always that you have a lot of value, but to leave the door open for the fact that you aren't perfect, but you matter, and that the moment you're living in is the only moment you can actually ever do anything about your life. So stay focused with what you're doing now. Don't get distracted. You want your future to be better, give the person in front of you your best. Like right now, Justin, if I was thinking about what was going to happen in 10 minutes, this interview would stink. So and it would be my fault. It would be my fault. And, and also another thing I learned was, when you make a mistake, say, I'm sorry, and then move on. Don't do it again. Try and learn from your mistakes, but don't beat yourself up. So those were the kind of values I had, was given, and they translate very well when I'm being those things. When I'm not perfect, I can't be. Some days I have a terrible day. I say stuff I shouldn't say. I do things I shouldn't do. I make a fool of myself, or I say something accidentally hurtful to somebody. But if it happens, just own it, move on, and also be around people who bring the greatness out of you. That goes to the music.
Yeah.
Be around good people who are there for the right reason, who want to and be around people that you admire, and try to learn something. I mean, humble yourself in their presence while remaining strong in who you are. Because if you can't, as Ferris Bueller says in his movie, I'll paraphrase so the FCC doesn't get up on you, you can't respect somebody that kisses your backside, it just doesn't work. That's the quote. And so don't be kissing anybody's ring, be you, but be kind, and I think that's a big thing, and even when we're on the internet and stuff, I think it's really important to be kind. There's a human being behind, there's a human being behind everything. We can't ever lose sight of that. And music is the beauty that we get to harvest, and our relationships is what that should it all comes into the music. You know what I mean?
How did they how did they see you as becoming a musician? Because it's a different lifestyle,
It is. Well, if you want to do music 100% of the time, full time, it's a crazy idea. I thought of this dream at 14. How many decisions do you think of at 14 that are a good idea? You know what I'm saying? So to make a 14-year-old kid's dream and an adult's reality is a long road. That being said, my folks couldn't have been more supportive. They did have one thing for me, because I knew I wasn't going to farm pretty early on. I just was like this. I have other interests. I love the farm. It's one of my favorite places. I'm going to be coming back there before the tour and spending time with Dad and my brothers and my mom and my grandma. God bless my grandma. She's still going out there. Grandma Voss, Grandma Rose, I love you. But the bottom line is, going to come back there and spend time with them. And I forgot what I started saying because I drifted off.
We were talking about, the work. I think I feel that you bring the, that work ethic that you were talking about with your dad to the way that I see you make music, and the way that I see you, be a musician. It is that work ethic,
Well, everything in this isn't a realization I have. And again, let's all remember that I said I'm imperfect. So, if I'm a little off in anybody's opinion on this, hey, I'm still learning. I'll be learning till the day I die. But this is my perspective. Everything you have in your life, whether it be a good relationship with your mom, whether it be something someone would call talent, whether it be anything, your loved ones, your friends, it all is curated through a decision to work and to do good work. So to me, one of the best compliments you can get, because even if someone says you're really nice, you're really grateful, or blah, 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 you've got talent, that all comes back to your individual decision to work on yourself and in your life. And so to me, that's the common denominator to every successful, happy, peaceful human that I've met. And those are the kind of people I admire and want to learn from. So that's what I bring into the tunes and the music is you have to, as a musician, think you have something to say. So you do have, something in that some would call an ego, but as long as the ego isn't, as my vocal coach would say, ego can also be edging God out, edging greatness out, So remain in, you can't be in love with yourself while you're making music. You have to believe in yourself. Believing in yourself means I'm open to learn. And what we did on this third record, it's like we brought in a great producer, Dave Sardi, did LCD sound system. He did all this other stuff. And he pushed us. And he was like, I finally understand what it was like to probably be coached by Mike Holmgren or like Winston Barney, where they're in 1 minute, they're like, come on, son, you can do it. And then the next minute they're like, you don't know what you're doing out there. And Dave would do that. Like in moments he'd be like, dude, great take. I'm like, great. And then the next time you want a little more out of me on the vocals, he'd be like, I ain't feeling it. Nope, you don't got it. You can do better. And finally, in one take, I took my jacket off. I threw it across the room. I'm like, all right, you want to hear a take? Here it comes. Just completely let it go. And it's what the song needed. At the end, he goes, now we're talking. Do another one just like that. And I'm like, you son of a, and that was great.
That's genius. Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta be pushed or you're going to stay in one place. And we wanted to open the sound up. We wanted to make it bigger and different, but we know who we are. Stay grounded in who you are and serve the songs.
Yeah.
The songs, everything,
Well, I think that comes through in How High. I mean, we're loving it and thank you for it. I think we're gonna have to wrap it up in a minute, but I want to get before we leave.
We came in a little late, so you can have 2 or 3 minutes if you want.
I do want to. So when I would come out of this with a song, so it's like we're talking on the radio. You could be the DJ on 88.9. What's the next song that you want to play as DJ?
Let's do Paradise as one of ours or somebody else's?
I'd like to do somebody else's.
Okay. Oh, I have it. I have it right here. I just want to make sure I got the title right.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little out there.
Love it.
Okay, here we go. Hold on. I just have to look it up. 1 second.
Go ahead. Take your time.
Just want to make sure I got the album title right. All right. How do you want to do this? Just have me say it?
Yeah. Or you can say this is Chris Voss, because that would be nice.
Yeah. Milwaukee. God bless you. Congratulations on the Bucks. Go Brewers, go Packers. First, let's start there. I want to thank you for your time today. Every second that you give a musician to hear new music is a blessing. So when you take a few seconds to listen to anybody, that is a blessing, and that you're giving that musician a gift. We're all grateful for it. And if you see someone do a good job in your life, tell them so. I can't tell you how many times that in my life, I would go on for my musical career lasted 6 months longer because of one person, about one CD, who said I was good on a night where I wanted to just fall over and die. So what I'm going to leave you here is with a band that Mike Kroll fellow Milwaukeean who is also signed, moved out here at the exact same time. I was in a band with his brother Justin for a while, but Mike Kroll is a punk rocker, and he turned me on to this band that precedes a lot of other stuff from Australia. And it's one of the greatest punk records I've ever heard. And to those punk purists, are going to go, oh, yeah, duh, this is great. But I'm not going with the Ramones. I'm not going with the Sex Pistols. I'm going with the Saints off of their album, I'm Stranded. The title track, I'm Stranded, track 1. This album plays great, stem to stern. Go out and listen to it. Milwaukee, you're going to enjoy this one. This is good, blue collar, kick butt music. They are awesome. You will love it. It's loud, it's nasty, and the songs are great. I'm Chris Voss from the record company. I will see you in October.
Yes, and that's it. We got nowhere to go from here. That was fantastic. Chris, thank you for your time. Thank you for your insight. I feel like every time I hear you talk, I like grow as a human. So thank you for that. All right.
Take care. Bye.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
See you.